There's this scene in the final episode of Psychopath Season 1. As Makishima walks away into the sunset, he says something that flipped my entire perspective of him and the series upside down. Everyone is alone, everyone is empty, people no longer have any need for others, you can always find a substitute for any talents, any relationship can be replaced. That's the world he grew tired of.
Are you still here? You're never welcome.
That was when I came to realize that the series known as Psychopaths had completely and utterly broke me, shattering my perspective of justice and the value of human life. Psychopaths will break you, just like it broke me. Imagine a world where your mental state and value as an individual is measured by a system you know almost nothing about. You're told what career paths are best for you, and straying from what the system recommends is almost taboo. This system decides if you are suitable for society, and if you're deemed as a threat, you're judged as a criminal. That is the world of psychopaths. The people who enforce the system's sense of justice are known as inspectors, and those who do their dirty work are called enforcers. A unique and well executed premise, a story that always has you thinking, brilliant characters who you are emotionally invested in. Psychopath Season 1 was truly an amazing series, and in this video, I'll go over my experience with the series, what I liked and what I wasn't fond of, hopefully convincing you to give it a watch, and finally enforcing the idea that psychopaths will break you, just like it broke me. For about the longest time now, I've been quote unquote burnt out of anime. The only few anime that I have got invested in this year were One Piece and Gintama for the most part, with other series that just didn't interest me as much as the former did, and it took me a very long time to finish a 24 episode anime. I'm looking at you, Steins Gate! 3 whole months spent watching one show. So you'd think that going into newer anime, I wouldn't be excited at all and have very low expectations. Well, that could only be far from the truth. Going into Psychopaths, I was excited. Excited because I believed that maybe, just maybe, the series could bring back the love for anime I had and make me want to waste 10 hours every day watching 30 episodes of Chinese cartoons. And well, it didn't bring back my love for anime, but I sure as hell had one hell of a time watching it. The premise of Psychopaths within itself is pretty damn epic. Now take an excellent and exciting premise and couple that with an amazing first episode that really gets you excited. Boy oh boy, I was hyped for the rest. Throughout the next few episodes after episode 1, Psychopaths feels more of a slow burn type series as it slowly builds up on multiple concepts first introduced. We're hinted at something more and that a great danger is lurking in the shadows, pulling the strings of countless murders. We see just how horrifying this system is and how it causes people to resort to extreme measures as a way of finding thrills in a world where no one is actually living, but just blindly following orders and never thinking for themselves. I'm looking at you, school system. I want to sort of give you an example of what I'm talking about in the latter half of my statements. Now, imagine this. You live in a world free of stress, free of crime, but also free of anything exciting of the sort. Every time you're in a bad place mentally, you're classified as a possible criminal, and if you see something you're not supposed to, like a murder, you're still going to be looked at as a possible criminal. So knowing of that reality, how do you respond to it? I don't think anyone wants to go to jail and be taken from the things and people they love. So to prevent that, you don't do exciting things, you just do as the system says. You start to think that no, I won't decide what I want. I have faith in the system. I won't paint that horrifying yet beautiful painting. No, I'll make art that the system approves is safe. You start to not like what you're actually interested in and just follow the straight path that the system sets out for you. You don't try to branch off or rebel because in fact if you did that, you'd be confined and classified as a latent criminal. So, does your life really have meaning? Is there truly meaning to living like a robot and never deciding what you want to do? I surely don't think it is. I believe the reason our lives hold value is because they're short-lived and limited. So what we choose to do in that limited time we have is very precious. whether it be right or wrong, but blindly following a system and not thinking for yourself is not living. You're just following orders like how a dog follows his master. But you know that you're not a robot, and you despise those that follow this evil system, right? You hate it that talent can be replaced. You hate it that relationships are so fragile, and you hate it that those humans don't use their free will and follow their instincts. You know their lives hold no true value. So how do you deal with these robot-like humans who hold no value as an individual? They're valueless, right? So then it's fine. It really is fine if you kill them all, isn't it? I just sounded like an edgy 14-year-old saying that. I'm sorry you had to hear that. Many people, including myself, believe the first half of Psycho-Pass to be a bit slow and boring, but looking back, I honestly think it's excellent for questioning us about the true value of those who don't use their free will, and is it justified to kill them? It keeps on building on this amazing concept, giving us more questions than answers. And then in episode 11, the great danger lurking in the shadows finally makes his move. You're shocked at his actions, but even more shocked at the system for allowing such an individual to roam free. Your sense of justice is questioned, and you wonder if you truly can judge people as you see this danger make his exit, leaving behind a trail of dead bodies. It's then after episode 11 that Psycho-Pass truly kicks into the higher gears and turns into a fucking amazing show. Amazing, well-choreographed action, layered, well-written characters who have to face the reality that everything they believed in was a lie, a narrative that expands greater and brings to life excellent themes and ideas, such as the true meaning of justice, the challenging of the ideal society and just how flawed it is, utilitarianism in coming to terms with which individuals deserve to be killed, and truly excellent character dynamics. The second half of Psycho-Pass was astonishing with everything it brought to life and challenged, and the conclusion to the season was very satisfying, with the characters getting fulfilling conclusions, which even made me look at a few characters in a different light. While we're actually on the topic, what are the characters of Psycho-Pass like? Akane Tsunemori is one of my favorites, if not my favorite female character of all time. At the start of the story, she's a very young and naive girl who just finished college and has no idea what she wants to do and what's something only she can do. So when she finds out that she was the only one who scored a very high aptitude for being an inspector at the MSWPD, as she said, and I quote, "I was the only one who got an A ranking for the Public Safety Bureau. There were more than 500 students and I was the only one, so I thought there must have been something that only I could do at the Bureau. If I went there, I thought I could find my purpose in life. I thought I'd be able to find out why I was born, here and now." But her world is turned upside down as everything she believed in turns out to be a lie. But she does not break. She shows resilience and continues to walk the path of virtue, never giving up on the idea of law and justice as it is her duty to protect it. The law doesn't protect people. People protect the law. People have always detested evil and sought out a righteous way of living. Their feelings, the accumulation of those people's feelings, is in the law. They're neither the provisions nor the system. They're the fragile and irreplaceable feelings that everyone carries in their hearts. That is what Akane Tsunemori chose to protect. Shinya Kogami is sort of the second protagonist of the series, and he really is a brilliant one. He's badass, interesting, the same height as me, has some really great scenes, and is very well written. He mirrors Akane really well, and they have a great dynamic. Akane chose to protect the law, but Kogami didn't. Kogami realized that the law could no longer protect people, so he took it into his own hands and enforced his own justice regardless of what society thought of him. He wanted to protect people, not protect the laws and values they carry in their hearts. But speaking of dynamics, I think not only Kogami's best dynamic, but also the best in the entire series is his dynamic with Shougo Makishima, the great danger and philosopher of free will. Makishima became my favorite antagonist of all time, surpassing the one and only femboy Sir Griffith, rapist of Casca. Makishima is epic. He has a great design that you are bound to remember. An ideology that will most definitely change your perspective of human life and free will, a charismatic personality that draws you to his character, and a brilliant character conclusion. Remember when I mentioned earlier that Psycho-Pass had broken me and shattered my perspective of justice and what I thought was the value of human life? Yeah, it was actually Makishima who done that. Throughout the entire series, Makishima always had this enigmatic feel to him. He did outright morally questionable actions, but in the back of my head, I was always thinking that maybe he wasn't wrong, and maybe he's actually doing what the world needs him to do. No one is pure evil or pure good. They lean more into the direction of each, but they will still have a little of both in them. Makishima killed many people and did brutal things, but he did it all to crush the Sybil system. He wanted to create a world where we could make our own paths and one where relationships couldn't just be replaced, where talent would always be recognized, and finally one where people were fulfilled and thought for themselves. Makishima wasn't wrong. The world was. Okay, a side note, yeah, by the way, to all the people who have seen Psycho-Pass, I'm sorry. I'm too lazy to cover Masaoka, Ginoza, and the other characters, even though Masaoka is actually brilliant in his own right. It's really hard to explain how Psycho-Pass broke me without spoiling anything, so all I can really tell you is to watch it through and through and see for yourself how excellent it really is. I'd really love to make a Makishima or Akane analysis video, but I also need my channel to do well, so if you're interested in that, please consider subscribing or leaving a like. The like goal for this video will be 150 likes, and if we can get to that, I can ensure a Makishima analysis video in the coming weeks. I don't usually do this at all as I like getting to the point with my videos, but all the support really does help. I hope this video convinced you to watch Psycho-Pass. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and remember to leap into space. I'm out. Peace!